So, Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for talking to us. We really were happy that you had a chance to talk to us, because when we talk about Security Council reform, Italy has very strong opinions. How you approach the reform, what should be done there?
Well, let me start by making a comment on the week's news, meaning President Obama's support in a future reform of the Security Council of India as a possible permanent member. What President Obama said in his visit to India is that it was just to recognize an emerging country, which is, of course, eager to take more responsibility in the global governance. We share the same opinion of President Obama, but the Italian proposition to reform the Security Council may reach the same result, but without adding new permanent members, because we believe that new permanent members will add, first of all, new privileges, which are anachronistic nowadays.
Like veto?
Veto, but especially the permanent presence in the Security Council, which will not allow the other countries, and there are many countries in the world which are ready to take more responsibilities today, but especially in the future. We have been seeing in the last 15 years a dramatic change in the world. And my forecast is that in the next 10 years, these changes will be even faster. So new actors will come. And what we are going to do? We are going to undertake another 15 years of negotiation to reform the Security Council. Are we going to add the new permanent members? Are we going to have a Security Council of 30, 35 members? Is this council will work better than today, will be more effective, as everybody is requesting, in order to tackle the strong and challenging questions and problems of nowadays world? So our proposition is that we should have non-permanent members, so an expansion of the council in non-permanent members, and we create, as a proposition, of course, a category of a longer-term non-permanent members. This will allow those countries which are ready and capable to have more responsibilities to stay longer in the Security Council. This will allow the 70 countries, the 70 countries of the organization which never served in the Security Council, which is unacceptable in such organization like the United Nations, which is so legitimate because of the number, but its member state has to have the chance to give their own contribution. It doesn't matter if they are small or mid-sized countries. They must be in the Security Council. But the remarks of President Obama are important also for another reason, and this concerns us Europeans. It goes without saying that one country in Europe, one country alone, will never be able, not only today, but especially in the future, to solve any crisis in the world. We are a big country as European Union, but we must act as such. We must put to the power of 27 member states economic powers, political powers, by acting in foreign policy as one, the famous one telephone number, which has been requested to the European Union since decades. The Lisbon Treaty is giving us this chance. I think that we must do something. We must start reflecting on how the European Union should be represented in the largest and most legitimate organization in the world. And the European seat is the natural outcome. I understand that it should not be tomorrow morning, but our political leadership have the duty in front of a new generation to start talking, to start reflecting, and find immediately, or as soon as possible, a solution to that. Otherwise, the European Union will always be a payer instead of to be a player.
So, in other words, how you envision the Council? The 5 permanent members probably stay there, but then you're adding those non-permanent members for longer term.
Exactly. As you know, the Charter of the United Nations speaks very clear about that. Any change in the Charter must have the ratification of the 5 permanent members. And in foreign policy, we must be realistic. I I don't see any of the 5 which will decide themselves to be out of the Security Council. So we have to start from there. But in fact, in order not to arrive to the point that we are today, in a stalemate, because there are so many visions of the Security Council reform, we must have a reform which makes the Security Council in a position to be adaptable to the new situation that we will have in 5 years, in 10 years, without starting undertaking again a long discussions for reform. And the formula that Italy and the group of Uniting for Consensus and many other like-minded countries are proposing goes exactly in that direction. So we will have a Security Council which will be more representative, even of the regional organization. It will be more representative also for those countries, as I was saying before, that they never served in the Security Council. And it will be flexible because everybody, except the 5 permanents, have to be elected by the General Assembly, by the membership, by the 192 countries. So there will be a judgment, an assessment of the situation once the different countries will be candidate to the Security Council.
Somebody told me just another day that the expansion of Security Council is one topic that European Union countries here in New York can't really discuss amongst themselves.
Well, in fact, as you know, there is no common position. So this means that it's not a subject which is discussed among the head of mission here. My suggestion is not that the head of missions in New York have to discuss about the European seat, is that the European public opinion, the European makers, the political leadership has to reflect on what a European Union should be when it's growing up. And if we want the European Union to grow up, if we want the European Union to be a real actor in the world, if we want to do so, and I think that it will be difficult to say the contrary, we must act. And as I said, nobody alone, Germany, Italy, France, UK, just talking about larger country in terms of population and GNP, will never alone able to give such contribution to resolve an international crisis. But European Union can do it. And now we have to put the basis of these discussions in order to have, as soon as possible, a decision on that.
So you envision a European seat in the future?
Exactly so. Exactly so.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.